So imagine the following scenario. You probably recognize this. You're texting with a girl and you think that things are going well. You think that she is interested in you and you think about asking her out and you're perhaps even fantasizing about already being on a date with her and how well things will go between you and her. But then eventually she stops responding and you do not know why. You think, perhaps I did something wrong. And most men, they are completely oblivious and totally unaware of the fact that they were texting certain things to the woman that turned her off over time and made her just stop responding to him and not want to go out with him. So that's what we're going to cover here in this video. We're going to cover 12 things that you should never ever, under any circumstance, text to a woman. Because a lot of things in dating, they come also down to knowing what not to do. Sometimes that's even more important than knowing what to do. So let's jump into the first point, which is asking her, why are you ignoring me? Or anything that is similar to this, yeah? Like asking her, why do you not reply to my text? And anything that shows to her, well, I have no life and I was waiting for your text all of this time because you're such a high priority to me. This turns her off because she doesn't want to be with a guy that has no life for himself, that is just waiting around for her text. And especially, this is even worse if you text this to her after just a few hours of not getting a reply to her. What most men do basically is that they send a text, they do not get a reply for 6 hours, and they say, oh, why are you ignoring me? This is super needy. Yeah, and it turns women off all the time. And then you shouldn't be surprised that she doesn't reply to your text and that she thinks, that she becomes disgusted by you. She wants to throw up because she received a text so needy and so approval seeking. And that she will never want to go out with you or ever speak to you again. So never text this to her. Yeah, when you double text with to her, because it could be that sometimes she forgets it. Yeah, send her a dumb waiting meme. Send her, hey, it seems you forgot to press send, but only after multiple days of waiting. You never ask her, hey, why are you ignoring me? Why do you not reply to my text? That nonsense. So that brings us to the second point, which is texting her, I am bored. This is a cardinal sin in dating. This comes off extremely low status, that you have nothing going on with your life, that you have no sense of direction, and the truth is that you should have such an amazing life. You always have interesting stuff to do. You're excited for your life and you don't need her for your entertainment. But when you tell her that you are bored, she will just think, well, this guy, he hopes that I'm going to entertain him because he is not doing anything interesting with his life. So this will ruin her attraction all the time. So when you text with a woman, you always want to tell her something interesting that you were doing that day. Yeah, I just went to the gym. I just crushed the workout. What about you? I'm just planning my trip. What about you? I just went to this nice restaurant with some of my friends. What about you? Anything interesting that you can come up with, but never tell her that you were bored or that you were doing nothing today or that work was hard. All of that stuff that just you're just shooting yourself in the foot and nothing else, yeah? So just only show interesting parts of your life. Yeah, do not hate on me. I didn't create the rules. Women perceive you that way and that's not my fault. So that brings us to the third one, which is asking her, how are you? This is very bad. This is very bland, very platonic. You will blend in with the crowd. And it also shows a total lack of awareness. Because if you are a guy, you're attractive, you're speaking with women, yeah, and if you sometimes by accident, or some women, they will just show you, here, this is my Instagram inbox. Yes, sometimes I've seen it, like you just laugh your ass off. It's just, it's so hilarious. You look at her inbox and it's just 100 guys that are asking her, how are you? Or they're saying, hey. So literally her entire inbox is, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? So what do you think that she's going to think about you? Yeah, you're just like all the other guys. So that's why you never text this to her. Instead, what you want to do, like, put some spice on your conversation. You ask like the same question. You basically tell her, tell me something interesting that you have been up to lately. Because in the way that you frame the question, that sounds way more interesting and it will also get her to think. Yeah, because if you ask her, how are you? She's going to think, oh yeah, well, good, and that's it. But if you tell her, tell me something interesting that you have been up to lately. Well, I just came back from my trip. Well, I went out with my friends this weekend. Well, I visited such and such location. The conversation is going to turn out a completely different way by just you tweaking the question a little bit. Yeah, so never ask her, how are you? It's super dumb. It doesn't lead you anywhere. Then the other one, the fourth one, is telling her, or asking her, what are you up to? This is another terrible question. This will also make you blend in with the crowd. And just like what I mentioned like a second ago, you can ask this question but tweak it and you get a completely different response from her. But when you ask her what are you up to, you just come off like a loser. And she will just think, well, this guy, he wants me to entertain him because his life is very boring. So you shouldn't ask this in a bland and in a simp way. You should just tell her, tell me something interesting that you have been up to lately. It sounds way better and it sounds way more attractive. So that brings us to the fifth one, which is asking her, do you want to go out with me? This is absolutely terrible. You can pretty much assure that she's not going to reply to this. That she also, even if she replied to this, she will just think, probably not. The answer is going to be no. Because this just sounds like you're begging for her approval and you're begging for a date with her. And she will just think, wow, like this guy, usually all the women, they are telling him no, but he is asking me for a favor because he hasn't been on a date in 9 months and no one likes him. Yeah, if you've been watching this channel, you know that women do not like men that no woman wants. They want to be with a man that other women want. So how do you become that guy that shows that he's in demand by other women? You ask the question in a confident way. Yeah, you seem cool. We should get together for drinks one of these days to get to know each other. Yeah, and however you're going to put it is not going to, that's just going to be semantics, yeah? But you want to sound confident and you want to sound in a way that shows, usually the women, they tell me yes, yeah, and it would be dumb for you to say no. So that's how you ask it. Yeah, you show proper leadership. And when you ask it in a way that shows that you're leading and that you're confident of yourself, then that increases the likelihood that you're going to get a yes from her and that she's going to go out on a date with you. So that brings us to the sixth point, which is telling her, text me when you're home. Yeah, after your date or when you just met her, whatever the case may be. You never text this to her. This is boyfriend behavior and you shouldn't give that to her in the beginning. This is terrible because she is an adult and she can perfectly take care of her own business. And God gave her 2 legs so that she could walk with them to her car or take public transport and then ultimately go home. And even if she texts you, I got robbed on the way, like there were some evil robbers like trying to get my purse. Yeah. Are you really going to step into your car and drive over to the other part of the city? Like to pretend that you're Captain America? You're not going to do that. She is just, first of all, she's not going to text that to you. And second of all, you're not going there. Either she or you are going to call the cops and that's it. You're not going, it's just a bunch of nonsense when you text this to her. It's also very needy and it also comes off very approval seeking. Like, can you please like me? I'm such a nice guy because, I text you, please let me know when you're home because I want to show to you that I'm super caring. Yeah, and that I'm such a nice boyfriend. Yeah, and that nonsense. Yeah, never do this to her. You ruin our attraction. So that brings us to the 7th point, which is telling her, I had so much fun tonight after your date or when you just met her. This is a cardinal sin in dating. You should never say this to her because she will think when you say this to her, the reason that he needs to mention this is because he always has such shitty dating experiences. Women dislike him so much. They run away from the dates. They run away from him. And finally, I was nice to him, and that was so special to him that he felt the need to show all of his excitement in the texts. Yeah, and text me, I had so much fun tonight. Yeah, when can I see you again? Super needy. It shows a lack of awareness, and it shows also that you haven't had great dating experiences, and it will make her see you as someone that hasn't had success. Yeah, that is not in demand by other women. And she will just laugh at you. And she will never go out with you either. So never text this to her. You give up all the mystery. She will never have to wonder about you. And when you do not text her this, first of all, she should text you this after the date. You should do such a good job on your date that she texts you afterwards. And also the thing is that she should wonder about you, whether she did a good job on your date. She should ask herself, hey, was I nice enough on this date? Did I impress him? Yeah, did I win him over? Those are the questions that she should be asking for a few days after you have had a date with her or when you just met her. Because then she starts to invest emotionally in you and that's ultimately where you hook her. So that brings us to the 8th point, which is texting her good morning or texting her good night. Those are super approval seeking. This is boyfriend behavior. It will turn her off. It will make her see you as a guy that has absolutely no life. And you're telling her basically, when you text her this, you're telling her, you're so important to me. There are no women in my inbox. You're the only one. And that's why I make you my priority. I don't have an abundance of women. Other women don't like me. And that's why I need to make sure that this goes well. So I text you good morning and good night every day so that I show to you how important you are to me and that my inbox is very empty and that I never get any other dates. So you put her on a pedestal with these texts. So never send her good morning and good night. It's also just fluff text. It's literally just fluff. Because what do you hope to achieve with this? You should your text should always have an idea in mind. Okay, like this is going to bring me to the next step, bring me closer to getting a date with her, closer to meeting up with her. Well, most men, they start talking in circles. And one of the biggest ways that they do this is by texting her good morning, sending her check-in text, like, hey, how are you doing? How did your work meeting go? All of that nonsense. Just don't text this to her. Yeah, when you are texting with her, you have a few texts back and forth, and you just set up a date. Yeah, no fluff text. So that brings us to the 9th one, which is texting her, I'm very bad at texting. And this is so terrible because you're telling her straight to her face, I suck with women, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm incompetent. And that's why you tell her, I'm very bad at texting. There is no other reason for you to text this to her. And she's also not going to have empathy with you. She doesn't care. She just wants to be with a guy that is attractive, that gets it, and a guy that understands women. They want to be with men that understand them better than that women understand themselves. And even if you are truly bad at texting, you never tell this to her. You pretend that you are a Casanova and that you know 100% what you're doing. And you fake it till you make it. You just become better as you go. But you do not tell her that you suck at texting. Because women want to live in this fantasy that the man that they are dating, the man that they are talking to, that guy, he was just born with elite dating skills and elite texting skills and all of that. They don't want to know that you're just learning it or that you have learned it from somewhere else. They want to believe that you were laying in a cradle with all of these elite texting skills, even though that's delusional, but that's what women love to believe. So you give them that fantasy that you always knew what you were doing over text. Of course, I understand that in reality, this is something that men have to learn. Yeah, but you never tell this to her. So let's go over to the 10th one, which is asking her, what do you want to do? This is terrible. Also, this is an absolute cardinal sin in dating. And when you text this to her, she will be so disgusted. She will be so repelled by your message. She will just go in her inbox on Tinder and she will pick the first guy that she sees and she will think, please take me on a date because I'm so disgusted by what the other guy just texted to me. I need a date right now and I need to get some things out of my system, if you guys understand what I mean. Yeah, she will just get laid that night with a guy that texts her, let's do this, yeah, let's go there, yeah, let's grab drinks tonight, you name it. She will just forget also that you ever existed when you ask this question. And guys on the internet, they're still surprised that when they ask a woman, what do you want to do, that they are getting ghosted. Yeah, and that the woman goes out with another guy. Yeah, that's because you are just showing a total lack of leadership skills. Yeah, always propose clear plans, even if the plans, they are not that good. Even if they are just half good. It's even better to propose half good plans than to propose no plans at all. Because you still show leadership. And often women will go on with your plan and will go along with your plans anyway. So that brings us to the 11th one, which is texting her, I am not like other guys. And this is super approval seeking. You're basically trying to convince her, I'm a nice guy. I'm the right guy for you. Yeah, I am a nice boyfriend if you give me a chance. And this is not how women's psychology works. Because when you tell her that you are not like other guys, she actually hears, this guy, he is exactly like all the other guys, yeah? That are needy and approval seeking, and they are showing all of this simpy behavior constantly. And probably he is also very bad in bed. Yeah, he doesn't understand women, and his wiener is small. Yeah, all of these bad things. Yeah, she's going to believe it about you. And that's why you never want to tell this to her. Instead, what you want to tell her is that you're exactly like other guys, and maybe even worse, because that stands out from the crowd. And when you tell her that, she starts to imagine, wow, like this guy, he must be special. Yeah, I need to figure him out because he doesn't feel the need to look for my approval and to kiss my ass. That's what they will start to think. And it makes no sense, but that's how the female mind works. So never tell her that you're not like other guys, because you're shooting yourself in the foot and you will hurt your chances of ever going on a date with her. So that brings us to the 12th one, which is texting her, let me know when you're free. This is very approval seeking, and this also shows that your entire world revolves around her. It's like saying, I have no life, and I'm free all week for you whenever you want, just give me a text and I will drop everything and then I will just go wherever you want to go. And that looks incredibly bad. And it shows that you have very low status. Instead, what you want to do here is always ask her which day she is free or what her schedule is like this week. And a lot of guys, they will think, well, what difference does that make? Well, it makes a big difference because, again, a very tiny language tweak can make a world of difference in terms of her attraction and what it actually ends up like meaning for her and what kind of reply that you're going to get from her. Because when you ask her, what's your schedule like this week, it's kind of like, I'm running my schedule here, like just doing this, yeah. And just tell me what your schedule's like, and then I can find a time when it will fit in for me, because my schedule is the most important thing to me. With the things that I'm doing, they are a lot more important than the things that you are doing with your life. That's basically how you frame it when you ask this question. Do not let your life revolve around her. Yeah, just you let her revolve around your schedule. So that's also how you frame it. So that's it, gentlemen. So those are 12 things that you should never text a woman. So if your dating life isn't where you want it to be, and you realize, yeah, damn, I'm missing all of these subtle nuances in my texting that ultimately end up with her ghosting me, or that she loses attraction, and then I'm shooting myself in my foot, then I'm stepping on my own dick, even in many ways, then I'm open to helping you. You can book a call with me with the link in the bio, and then we can come up with a strategy for you to get the results that you want in your dating life, and to especially work upon your texting so that you understand these subtle nuances and that you can just go on the dates with the kind of women that you really find attractive. So that's it, gentlemen. Peace.